So we are live. I just got news that the Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. So we're here. We're going to chat. Let's talk through our picks. Let's talk through our bets. Let's talk through Monkey Knife fights. Let's talk about all of it. The Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. You need to plan accordingly. And I can't figure out how to stream to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. It's a nightmare. So, let's figure out what's going on with these fights. Yancy Medeiros dropped. So, anybody playing DraftKings, you're going to have to make a swap. You're going to have to move your lineup around. Things are going to have to change. That is always a giant pain, especially if you're super comfortable with your lineup. That sucks. But we'll figure it out. We have a couple of hours to go. I don't know why it dropped. Maybe I'll look up now, see if we can figure out why it dropped. But I did get the alert and just wanted to immediately put it out there that that was done. Let's go ahead and see what we've got going on here. Let me pull up my lineup. Yancy dropped. So when Yancy Medeiros dropped, they just announced it a few minutes ago. If you have a DraftKings lineup, make sure you take care of that. I swapped out Yancy Medeiros and I put Edmund Shabazian back in. I maneuvered to get Shabazian out, and now I've got Shabazian back in. So it is what it is. That fight dropped. Let me look up and see if I can figure out why it dropped. Yancy Medeiros. I'm not sure what happened there. I just know it was a last-minute drop. About 2 minutes ago they announced it. Yancy Medeiros. I'm assuming something to do with COVID. Let's see. Yancy Medeiros versus Damir Hadzovic pulled from UFC. Let me switch this so you can see as well. There we go. Let's read the article. The lightweight fight between Yancy Medeiros and Damir Hadzovic has been scrapped from Saturday night's event. UFC officials confirmed the news. Details surrounding fight cancellation have not been revealed. So they don't know why the fight was pulled, but the fight is pulled. Yancy Medeiros is off the card. I have swapped Medeiros for Shabazian. If I look at anybody else that I can afford in that slot, so I have, let's put this here so you guys can see more easily. So I have the options with my budget are Court McGee, and I think Court McGee can win. Cody Garbrandt, but I have Rob Font in the main event. So throwing Cody Garbrandt in my lineup means that I would double up the main event, and maybe I need to, so we'll keep looking here. Norma Dumont, I don't see Dumont beating Spencer. So, hey, Christian, I'm talking through that now. So I swapped Yancy Medeiros for Edmund Shabazian. I'm going through now who I can actually afford instead of Shabazian with my lineup. I'm waiting for Dan, and I'm waiting for Jacob to let me know what swaps they're making. But we're here. We have a few hours, so hopefully more people hop in, join the chat. Curious what you guys are doing, how you're swapping around. So I could also afford Vandera. So for me, it's between Shabazian and Vandera. I agree, Alan. Spencer will win easily. So I don't think there's any upside to having Norma Dumont in your lineup for DraftKings. I don't see her winning, and putting her in your DraftKings lineup isn't going to benefit you. So Vandera or Shabazian, that's the big question for me. So Shabazian can obviously get a first-round knockout, obviously. But he could also get taken down and held down the entire time, and that's dangerous. That's a very real threat when he's fighting Jack Hermanson. Jared Vandera is a good wrestler, has some power in his hands. I would like to put Vandera in my lineup. The problem is Vandera let us down big time when he fought Spiesvac a little while ago. Ricardo Ramos or Court McGee. I already have Ricardo Ramos in my lineup. I can put Court McGee in my lineup. So that's another consideration. So I guess my options are Court McGee. Let me share DraftKings. I guess my options are, this is not my lineup. This is Jacob's lineup. Let me go into mine. So my options are, so we will drop Yancy. So sort by salary, and see who we can afford. I can do Rafael Alves. Not happening. I can do Randeros over Dvorak. Not happening. I can do Rodriguez over Silva. Not happening. So now I can do Chris Barnett over Ben Rothwell. I don't see that happening. What's up, Jesse? How are you? Jesse, we're talking about the Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. So we're talking about the Yancy fight drop and what changes we can make to our lineups to accommodate that for anybody playing DraftKings. So I'm not touching anybody before Chris Barnett. Now I have Chris Barnett. I can do him over Rothwell. I do not see that happening. I know Chris Barnett. I spent some time with Chris Barnett. I enjoy Chris Barnett's company. I don't see him winning this fight. I'll be rooting for him. I just don't see him winning this fight. We can do Shaylan over Kulibao. No way. I think Kulibao blows through Shaylan. And then we have Vandera over Tafa. I think Vandera can win this fight. The problem is I'm a little gun shy because Vandera made an a-hole out of himself when he fought Spivak. Vandera is this giant, strong wrestler. Has power in his hands. Spivak is a little dude. He's not very big at all. And Spivak blew through him. Good thing you do this live to help with the last minute drop. Yeah, that was a coincidence. I was doing this live anyway. The last minute drop helped. Not helped, but this helped with the last minute drop. So I'm here. So let's talk through it. Let's figure it out. He wasn't in your card. That's great. Vandera. Vandera got smoked by Spivak. Spivak is small. And Spivak just absolutely tooled Vandera around. That's my concern with putting Vandera in my lineup. But I think it's a good matchup with Tafa. So we'll table that for a second. Then I can do Shabazian over Hermansson. I think Shabazian is very, very, very live in this fight, especially for a knockout. I mean, Hermansson is relentless with his takedowns. He's relentless with his grappling. We watched Shabazian get out-wrestled, get dominated by Derek Brunson, but Hermansson is not Derek Brunson with the takedowns. He certainly eclipses Derek Brunson with the grappling, but with the takedowns of wrestling, Jack Hermansson is not Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson is actually a very good wrestler. So Shabazian is a very interesting pick. So I'm probably going to go with Shabazian here. I can also do Dumont over Spencer. Not happening. Not happening. Dumont is not going to beat Spencer. I can do Cody Garbrandt. I think Rob Font wins this fight. But I can put Cody Garbrandt in there. I guess I double up the main. You say you recommend Varak. He's minus 500 favorite. I can't afford Varak. So I agree. I just can't afford him. So I would have to blow my lineup entirely to smithereens to be able to afford Varak. And maybe I do that. I mean, we have some time. I have a little bit to play around here. I will choose Shah as well. Who's Shah? Cody, I don't know. I think Font has it. Yeah, I think Rob Font wins the fight. I do. I think Rob Font wins this fight. Cody Garbrandt can certainly get a knockout with the speed and the power that he has, but I think Rob Font wins it. I don't want to double up the main because I don't know. I don't want to double up the main. There could be a high-scoring fight for both fighters, but let's try to avoid doubling up the main if we can. If you can go 6-0, that's the goal. So who else can I afford here? I can afford Court McGee. I think this is a good matchup for Court McGee. Jacob called Court McGee a human punching bag, and in his past fights, that is what he's been. But this is a little more interesting because this is a good matchup for him. He's not going to get stopped. You know, he's got the chin, a ridiculous chin. His wrestling takedown defense is pretty solid, so he's not going to get stopped. So I think Court McGee can defend the takedowns and strike his way to unanimous decision. Just don't know how many points he will score. And that's it. That's the only people I can afford. So the only people I would be willing to put in my lineup, the way it stands right now, with Yancy Medeiros dropping, anybody jumping in right now, Yancy Medeiros has dropped. He's done. His fight is off. That's it. So we're talking about what to do to replace him. I can afford, in my lineup, the way it sits right now, I can afford Court McGee, who I would consider, Shabazian, who I would consider, and Vandera, who I would consider. Now, if I wanted to completely blow this to smithereens, I'm looking at it. Let's create a new lineup. Let's do that. Let me put Shabazian in here. Save this. Let me create a new lineup and see what we can do. See what we can do to make this work. So we're going to build one from scratch. A lot of choices here. Let's build a lineup from scratch, see what we can do because of the Yancey drop. So I know for a fact I want Rob Font. I think Rob Font wins. I know for a fact I want Ramos. He's very affordable. Ramos is fantastic. Who else did I have? Bruno Silva. 100% throwing Bruno Silva in here. Let's see if we can get Dvorak in there. It's getting expensive. I mean, Dvorak was pretty affordable. I'm not going to touch Ismagulov. So, I definitely want Kulibau. $6,800. Is that anybody? No. Randero's over Dvorak. So, or Alves. Rafael Alves over Ismagulov. Boy, do I take that chance? Do I put Rafael Alves in there? Ismagulov coming off a 2-year break. This is an interesting lineup. Rafael Alves is coming off for a 2-year break. Ismagulov is coming off of a 2-year layoff. Rafael Alves has heavy hands, has good grappling. He can get a finish. Ismagulov is good everywhere. Like, very good everywhere. Tricky, man. Tricky. Guys, let me know. What are you guys doing? Did you guys have to make switches? I know, Jesse, you didn't. Christian, did you have to make a switch? Alan, are you doing DraftKings? If so, what changes did you have to make to get that going? So we're live now. I'll be live for a little bit. We'll stick around. Thank God I noticed that the Yancey fight dropped. And this is an early fight card. It all kicks off in 2 hours. In 2 hours, DraftKings is going to lock you in. And I know every single one of us has been screwed in the past with that DraftKings lockdown. So let me save this lineup. So now if you see on the screen here, I have 4 lineups going. These are not all mine. The very first one is my lineup. The next one is Dan's lineup. The last one is Jacob's, or the third one is Jacob's. And the last one is the one that I just created, which is very interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. This may be the one that I play in a lot of different places. So we'll see what happens. The Yancey fight dropped. Let me know what fight you guys are the most excited for. Let's go back to the regular screen. Let me know what fight you guys are most excited for. I would say I think fight of the night is going to be Ricardo Ramos versus Bill Algeo. I think they're just going to absolutely go at it. I think it's a barn burner. None of them know how to quit, and they're just going to score a ton of points. It's going to be a back and forth fight, probably fight of the night. The main event is also an unbelievable fight. Very well matched main event, so I'm really looking forward to that. Christian Rodriguez said, probably will switch Ricardo Ramos for Medeiros. So were they the same price? If they're the same price, that's a phenomenal switch. I already had Ricardo Ramos in my lineup. How do you feel about heavyweight? I think Rothwell is going to dirty box or wrestling the height. Yeah, so Ben Rothwell is going to blow through Chris Barnett. I know Chris Barnett. I like Chris Barnett. I spent a lot of time with him. He fought in the XFC forever. I managed a bunch of fighters in the XFC, including Nick Newell, who's on this show. Barnett is unbelievably athletic. Unbelievably athletic. The stuff that he can do with his stature and build is amazing. With that being said, Ben Rothwell is a perfect size and style to just absolutely smother Chris Barnett. Ben Rothwell is going to hold him against the cage, use his weight, use his size, dirty box, maybe put him on the ground. Chris Barnett's not winning that fight. What else we got here? Ex-Agent J. That's Jacob using his gaming account for some reason. David Ramon. I didn't have to make any changes. I have Cody, Kulibau, Ramos, Shabazian, Silva, Spencer. That's a good lineup. That's a very good lineup. I think Norma Dumont will knock out Felicia. Pierre. I don't know, Pierre. I don't know. Felicia Spencer is relentless. Let's put it this way, Pierre. What the hell's her name? Amanda Nunes did not stop Felicia Spencer. Cyborg, the scariest female fighter on planet Earth, could not stop Felicia Spencer. I don't think Norma Dumont is the person to do it. If the two most heavy-handed, effective strikers in the history of the sport couldn't put out Felicia Spencer. I don't think Norma Dumont's going to do it. Jacob, Edmond or Esparza? I'd go. Oh, man. So that's a good question, Jacob. So Carla Esparza can win. I think she will win. I think she'll use her wrestling and she'll win. If she loses, she'll score mediocre points because the wrestling will be helpful. Shabazian, if he wins, it's a ton of points because it's a knockout. If he loses, it's 0 points because he's smothered, has no offense whatsoever, gets taken down, smothered, and possibly submitted. Esparza's the safer bet. Shabazian's the high-risk, high-reward play there. Did Madero's fight get canceled? Dom Rushing, the Madero's fight was canceled. We are talking through changes that we can make to our DraftKings lineups, changes that, if we have to adjust some fight parlays, anything like that. Yancy Madero's fight is done. You have about 2 hours to get that sorted out. Jacob Lyons going with Shabazian. High risk, high reward. Bird 9404. Is it safe to bet on Cody staying calm and looking to trade? Yeah, Bird, or not looking to trade. That's tricky, man. That is tricky. Cody Garbrandt, let's put it this way. He has very good fight IQ before his emotions get the best of him. He's obviously a phenomenal striker with ridiculous speed, ridiculous power. In his last fight, he still got excited. He won that fight. He toned it down a bit, but he still got a little over anxious. So I don't know. There's so many question marks about Cody and his emotions and can he control them. With that being said, Cody's not a bad play here. I think Rob Font wins. I just think Rob Font is too technical and too composed and too laser focused on the mission at hand. What will be interesting is if one of them comes in with a wrestling game plan, and that's very possible. Very possible. Everybody's expecting two guys to go out there and box their way, through this fight. It would not be crazy if, to mix it up, confuse the other person, get them guessing, somebody comes out here with a wrestle-heavy game plan. But I think Cody is a high-risk, high-reward. He either wins by knockout or gets way too excited, way too emotional, and gets knocked out. It's possible he goes out there and looks like the greatest fighter of all time, like he did when he beat Dominic Cruz. It's been a while since he's looked like that, like many years. Christian Rodriguez, Court McGee minus 115 and Ricardo Ramos plus 110. Yeah, the difference there is I do think Court McGee can win that fight. Ricardo Ramos will score a ton of points, win or lose. Court McGee, in a win, isn't going to score that many points. Court McGee's not going to get a stoppage. He'll defend takedowns. He'll have some effective striking, but he's not going to score a ton of points. So even if he wins what is probably going to be a decision, unanimous, or split, it's going to be because he defended takedowns, had some busy handwork. So I don't think he's going to score a ton of points in DraftKings. He is an option for me. I just don't know if I'm going to go that route. Bird 9404. I also do think Cody can work the calf kick a little as well. He chopped up a Sunsao. Yeah, I mean, they're both very dynamic. So Rob Font, I'm from Connecticut. Rob Font is in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, that area. So he's trained a lot with a lot of people that I know. I haven't trained with him. I'm a very large person, and I haven't trained in a while. But he's trained with Nick Newell. He's trained with a bunch of people. They have a game plan. They definitely have a game plan. And they're very well-rounded. I mean, especially in the Northeast, wrestling is great. I know for a fact they're wrestling like crazy up there. I don't know if that's his game plan, but I do know he has it in his back pocket, and he is willing to use it. And when he beat his last fight, when he beat Marlon Moraes, the leg kicks weren't a factor. Marlon Moraes has some savage leg kicks as well. So, it's a tricky fight because I can't come on here and be the authoritative source and say, this is what's going to happen in the main event, because anything can happen. That is a very, very good, evenly matched main event. Dan did a pretty good job when he explaining the logic. He picked Cody because he said essentially Cody's the cheaper fighter and Cody has more upside, meaning Cody, if he wins, will likely win by knockout. Rob Font probably won't win by knockout. He'll probably, just outpoint his way to a victory unless Cody Garbrandt gets wild and runs in. But Cody's chin is suspect. He's been a little bit, wobble-legged in every single fight he's had since the Dominic Cruz fight. He was either put out cold or on ice skates before he got the knockout. Jacob shared a pretty cool stat with me, and it was in every single Cody Garbrandt fight. Every single fight he's ever had in the UFC, there was a knockdown. He's never been in a fight where somebody wasn't knocked down, him or the other guy. So interesting stat. Knockdowns are 10 points. So hopefully whatever play you have, you're on the right side of that. So let me pull up my DraftKings screen here. Walk you through a few lineups I got going on. So window share. So here's our DraftKings. First slot. This is me. This is my lineup right now because of the Yancey drop. I have Rob Font, Carla Esparza, Culibao, Shabazian, Ramos, and Bruno Silva. The change I made was Shabazian for Yancey. Yeah, you're welcome, Bird. Thanks for showing up, man. Hopefully you're a subscriber. If you're really enjoying the content, consider clicking the join button. It really supports us, but we're here to help. We love doing it. So that was my lineup. I had Yancey. I got rid of Yancey for Shabazian because the Yancey Medeiros fight dropped. Anybody new here? That fight is done. So plan accordingly. So I went with Shabazian. The upside of Shabazian is he can get a first round knockout. The downside is he can get held down, submitted, or just held down for 15 minutes and just not look good and not score any points whatsoever. So that is tricky. These next two lineups, this one is Dan's. So I don't know what Dan's doing with Medeiros yet. Dan is at American Top Team right now training. Right now, he's at American Top Team training with the guys and working out with them. So I don't know what he's doing with Yancey Medeiros. This is Jacob's lineup over here. He's in the comments section, and he did not say what he's doing. So Jacob, jump in. What are you doing? What are you doing with Yancey? This lineup down here is the one that I just put together. So this lineup is Rob Font, who I think wins. Culibao, who I know wins. Dvorak. Dvorak has a dude on 1 minute replacement. So his opponent took this fight in 1 minute. So his opponent is a wrestler. That could be a problem, but I doubt it. That is just such short notice. Then I have Ricardo Ramos. Ricardo Ramos, underdog, but busy, active, can absolutely win this fight. Bruno Silva, 100% going to win his fight. And then I threw in Rafael Alves. Rafael Alves is the biggest underdog on the card, or at least he was until Dvorak got a last-minute replacement. Biggest underdog on the card. Rafael Alves can win this fight with the big, heavy hands, can win this fight on the ground with submission. Rafael Alves can win. And I'm just, it's so hard, man, because he's $6,700. His opponent is one of the most well-rounded people in the sport in that division. Problem is he hasn't fought in 2 years, and you never know what's going to happen. Brent Hinson, good updates. Time to switch it up. Yeah, absolutely. Ditch Yancey Medeiros. That fight is canceled. I don't know if you got the notification yet or not, but ditch it. Swap him out. Don't get locked in. Has Dan cornered any UFC fighters? Well, Dan was a UFC fighter. So he had his own corners fighting in the UFC. And I'm assuming 100% yes, he's cornered his teammates in the past. I've cornered UFC fighters as well. I've managed fighters and I've cornered them. Cornering in the UFC used to be a lot of fun because obviously you get to go, they get to hang out. The night before, right? The night after the weigh-ins, that's always the best night because the fighters are in the locker, the actual people fighting are in the hotel rooms trying to relax and get sleep. Everybody else, all the coaches, all the corners are, at the bar, hanging out, having a drink, talking, hanging out, doing stuff like that. So that's always a ton of fun. Now, though, obviously COVID screwed some of that up, but you also used to be able to corner a fighter in the UFC and then go sit somewhere and watch the fights. Now you can't. You have to stay back in the locker room. So you go corner your fighter, they shuffle you right back to the locker room, and that's where you live until you're done. You have no tickets. You can't go into the arena. So if you want to watch the fights, you have to watch it from the locker room, or that's it. So after your fighter fights, you go back to the locker room. They usually get cleaned up and go with their family, so you don't hang out there watching fights like a weirdo. Yes, Big Bob Bosson. Yancey Medeiros fight is done. It's canceled. It dropped. You need to make your changes to your DraftKings lineups. I swapped Shabazian for Yancey Medeiros. But let's look at that again. We'll go through very quickly who I can afford. So Yancey Medeiros is done. He's out. I have a few options. I can afford, we'll sort this by salary. I can afford Rafael Alves. I have him in a different lineup. Let's leave that alone for now. I can afford Randeros over Dvorak. I'm not going to take that chance. I can afford Rodriguez over Bruno Silva. Not happening. Not happening. Barnett over Rothwell. Also not going to happen. Barnett's not going to beat Rothwell. Shaylin over Koulibaly. I don't see that happening. So far, I have no real viable options. I have Vandera over Taffa. That's intriguing because Vandera's a big dude. Vandera's a wrestler. Taffa doesn't have a ton of experience, but he does have heavy hands and big, thick hips. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. Vandera's burned us in the past, but that was the past, and that was against another wrestler. This is not a wrestler. So Vandera's an option. Shabazian. Shabazian is probably the route I'm going to go. Shabazian can lose this fight by being on his back the entire time and then getting submitted, or he can win this fight by knockout. So Shabazian, very tricky. Shabazian, high risk, high reward. I think Shabazian's my play. Then we have Norma Dumont over Spencer. I don't see that happening. I don't see her winning the fight. I can afford Cody Garbrandt. I have Rob Font. I think Rob Font wins. I don't want to double up the main, so no Cody for me. And then I can afford Court McGee. Court McGee, I think, wins this fight. Court McGee will defend the takedowns. Court McGee has a ridiculous chin, so he's not getting stopped. I just don't think he's going to score a lot of points. I think Court McGee will defend takedowns and then sort of 1-2 his way to a unanimous decision, and that's not a lot of points. So Shabazian is my play. Shabazian is in my lineup, and I will show you guys very quickly the other lineup that I built a few minutes ago because Yancy Medeiros dropping blew everything up. So I made an even swap in one of my lineups, and then I just built another one from scratch to see what would happen. So I have Rob Font. I think he wins. Koulibaly. I know he wins. Dvorak. I know he wins. Ramos should win. Bruno Silva. I know he wins. Rafael Alves, on paper, has no chance in hell. In real life, has genuine power. In real life, has very solid submissions. In real life, he's a pretty big guy. And his opponent hasn't fought in 2 years. 2-year layoff. So I like this lineup. I'm probably going to play, I'm definitely going to play this in a bunch of 50-50s and double ups. I may throw this one in the big GPP pool as well to see what happens. Guys, let me know in the comments, what changes have you made? Who are you swapping Yancy Medeiros for? The Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. If you're just bumping in now, Yancy Medeiros, that fight is done. That fight has dropped. If you're doing DraftKings, plan accordingly. What do Jacob and Dan's lineups look like now? I don't know. Dan is at American Top Team right now, training, working out with the guys. So when he's out, I'll find out what he's doing. Jacob is in the live chat, or at least he was. Haven't heard from him in a few minutes. I don't know what he's doing. But as soon as he does, as soon as I do know, we'll go ahead and share that with you guys. What are you thinking, Bob? What swaps are you going to make? And Dom Rushing, what swap are you going to do? Did you have Yancy in your lineup? And what do you have to do there? Personally, I am looking forward to this entire card. I think the main event is fantastic. Very evenly matched. And I think, it's interesting. So I don't know who I want to win. On one hand, Cody Garbrandt is one of the most exciting fighters I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm rooting for Cody Garbrandt in that regard. On the other hand, we need some of these younger guys to come up and to change things a bit. And Rob Font coming off a few really good wins, and him winning shakes up the division, which is always nice. Cody winning is great, but he's still 2-3 in his last 5. Big Bob Boston, I'm going over all of it now. We'll just switch for Shabazian. Yeah, so I just talked through that. I think that's the switch I made in my lineup, or one of my lineups. Shabazian, high risk, high reward. He can get a knockout and be done with it. Low reward. He can get put on his back and submitted and score almost 0 points. But seeing what a new lineup looks like. Yeah, so Bob, I built an entirely different lineup from scratch as well. I like it quite a bit, actually. So we'll see what happens. We have about an hour 40. Let's get it all locked in. And it's so annoying. Here's what's annoying about DraftKings. A fight dropped. We're now down to, I don't know, how many fights are on this card? 12. But they're still going to start on time. Like, why would you still lock my lineup at that time? Why wouldn't you give me the extra 10 or 15 minutes, right? Why are you still locking it down at the exact time that this all was going to start? even though that's not the time it's going to start anymore because there's been some fight drops. So we're here. We're talking through it. Again, if you haven't noticed, Yancy Medeiros' fight has dropped. Make your lineup changes accordingly. David Ramon. I thought Cody was older than Rob Font, but Rob Font is actually 4 years older than Cody. Yeah, Cody seems older because he's very chinny and he's been around a while. He's got a lot of wear and tear in his body, and when he gets put out, he gets put out. He's almost like an aging fighter who's hanging around a little too long, and he's not. Rob Font, on the other hand, very precise, very in and out, doesn't get into those firefights. Rob Font doesn't get sucked into the wild exchanges, and he doesn't get put into positions where, it's kill or be killed. He has no problem disengaging, resetting, coming back to pick his shots. Cody Garbrandt does not do that, so he has more miles on his body. He's been beat up. He's been knocked out cold many times. So Cody feels and looks much, much older than he actually is. And David, your crown has changed colors. You are now in your second month of being a member. Congratulations. Every single month that you're here, your crown will automatically change colors to just show length of membership. So thank you very much for the membership. David, thank you, Brent. Thank you, Jesse. Jacob, obviously, Pierre. Thank you all very much for being members. It is very appreciated, and it's very, very, very helpful, as you can imagine. So thank you all very much. Anybody that's watching that isn't a member, if you want to support us, click the join button. It's incredibly helpful. It does a lot for us so that we can continue doing what we do for you. Somebody hit up the comments earlier to say thank you, which is appreciated. And they said, thank you very much. I spent $75 and I'm now up $750 based on your guys' advice and insight. So thank you. I appreciate it very, very much. You have your Dan card. Oh, good. I'm glad you got that. Yeah, so every single one has been mailed out. Every single Dan Kramer card has been mailed out. And yeah, the member perks, if you click the join button right now and reach out to me, we will send you a Dan Kramer UFC trading card. So Dan is the other host on this show. He's the better looking one. We have two different types. And he was in the UFC, made his UFC debut. He won his UFC debut. He made his pro debut in the UFC. So he got a Topps card. So he has two Topps cards. We went out to the internet. We bought every single Dan Kramer UFC Topps card so that we can give them away to members for free. So we actually lose money on that because we spend more on the card than the membership is. But we're just trying to bring people in. We're trying to build a community. We're trying to grow this. And that's how we're going to do it, by giving stuff away. So thank you all very much for the members that are here. And anybody that's considering being a member, click the join button. If you want to be a member, you don't think it's worth it, let me know. We'll see if we can make it worth it for you. It's too early to drink booze, so I'm drinking water. David Ramon, if Cody can learn to control his emotions, him and Jan would be a great fight. Yeah, it would. I think Jan puts him away, but it would be a great fight. I don't know if he can control his emotions. That's not something, he, at this point in his career, he should be able to control his emotions. If he can't now, I don't know if he ever will. So he's very, the emotion works for him in some cases, and it doesn't in others. So if we look at the 3 fights that he lost in a row by knockout because he got emotional, he got that person rocked, dropped, ran in too heavy, too fast, and then he himself got knocked out. So it's hard to fault him for that. It's hard to give him a knock because he had those guys almost put out cold, and then he himself had issues, right? So he got caught. Somebody just commented about the Yancey fight. Are these money line picks? All right, well, listen, buddy, you're going to have to watch the video. So it's hard to say Cody Garbrandt sucks because he lost 3 in a row by knockout. Well, watch those fights. He lost 3 in a row by knockout after he almost had the other person completely knocked out. So I do think his emotions get the best of him. I do think it's an issue. Even in his last fight, which he won, his emotions started to get the best of him. He just happened to be the better guy. Let's catch up on some comments. Big Bob Boston has Coulibaugh, Garbrandt, Ramos, Shabazian, and both Silvas. Yeah, that's a good lineup. I think To me, the risk there is with Shabazian. He either scores 10 million points with a first-round knockout or none because he gets submitted immediately. And then the other Silva, Bruno's a lock. The other Silva to fight our buddy, to fight Court McGee, that's tricky. I think Court McGee wins that fight. And I don't think it's a high-scoring fight. I think Court McGee defends takedowns and jabs his way to a victory. So I don't have all of the faith in that lineup, only because of the Silva fight and the Shabazian. You can leave Shabazian in. I would try to figure out how to get Silva out of there, because even if he wins, he's not going to put Court McGee away. It's just not going to happen. Would you go Esparza or Shabazian? So that's if you want safe or high risk, high reward. Carla Esparza is the safer pick. She can win. She can win with her wrestling. She can score a ton of points even in a loss with her wrestling. And even if even if she's losing, she shouldn't get stopped, and she'll put up some points because takedowns are 5 each. Shabazian isn't going to score an enormous amount of points if he loses. If Shabazian loses, he scores almost no points. If Shabazian wins, he will score a ton of points. If Carla Esparza wins, it'll probably just be mediocre points. Hold on, let me put my fan on. Gets hot in here talking about these fights. So that's up to you. If you want high risk, high reward, go Shabazian. If you want safer play, win or loss, Carla Esparza. For monkey knife fights, more or less, Hermansson and Shabazian. I went more and more with Hermansson 45, Shabazian 26. Yeah, I think more and more is a safe bet or play, because keep in mind, it is every single strike in a fight. That means Shabazian only, if it goes 3 rounds, only has to do 10 a round, and he hits them more. So I went more and more on that as well. Obviously, he can get taken down and submitted immediately. Obviously, he can knock out Jack Hermansson immediately. So it could go any direction. I think maybe, I think you either have to go more or less, right? You either think that Hermansson is going to steamroll Shabazian and submit him less, or Shabazian is going to knock him out less, or it'll be a back and forth fight. So if you think either one of them blows through each other, then hit the less. If you think Hermansson can submit him, and if you think Shabazian can knock him out, go less. Bird 9404, what did you choose not have Dvorak in your lineup? Why did you choose to not have Dvorak in your lineup? I have him in my lineup now. So I've made some changes. I didn't put him in my lineup yesterday because I liked my lineup a lot. So I didn't want to just switch it all up just to squeeze Dvorak in there. And Dvorak's original opponent was a closer fight. Now it should be a blowout because he has a last minute replacement opponent. I did make another lineup. Let me share that with you. So right here is a new lineup that I made. And I did this because the Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. Anybody that's just jumping in now and didn't know that, Yancy Medeiros, that fight is done. It dropped. It's off the card. I had to make some changes. So I built a lineup from scratch. I have Dvorak in this lineup, Bird. So I have Rob Font. I think he wins the fight. I have Coulibaugh. I'm positive he wins this fight. I have Dvorak. Dvorak should win. He's fighting a guy on a freaking 25 minutes notice, but his opponent is a wrestler, and that could be an issue for Dvorak. But it's the cards are so stacked against him. I'm gonna have to play Dvorak and see what happens. I'm going with Ramos over Algeo. I think that's a barn burner. I think that's razor thin. Ramos is much more affordable, so I have Ramos. And Bruno Silva, I think, blows through Rodriguez. And then Rafael Alves over Ismagulov. That's only because that's the only person I could afford. And he has a chance. He's got heavy hands. He has submission abilities. And Ismagulov hasn't fought in 2 years. He's very technical. He's not a finisher. So I think Alves can get the finish or at least survive and help me out here, considering I have a bunch of very expensive people in there. Bird 9404. Oh, why'd you choose? I just answered the Dvorak question. Big Bob Boston. I backed off the Tafa fight because I see too many variables and decided to go with that one. Some interesting fights for sure. Yeah, so with Monkey Knife Fight, anybody watching, first of all, we have this fancy little banner. The website is playmkf.com/wewantpicks, and the promo code is WWP. They'll instantly match your deposit. So if you're watching this, you've seen our other videos, you're not sure if you want to play or not, just throw $20 in there. They'll match your 20 and then use the free 20 that they gave you. Play with that. And then this way, if you like it, you made some money, great. If you don't, you can withdraw your original actual money. Literally no risk. Anyway, with Monkey Knife Fight, we can pull those lines up right now. Let's pull the Monkey Knife Fight lines up. So with Monkey Knife Fight, we will go back. The lines are very interesting because it's every single strike now, not just significant strikes. It is all strikes. So let's check a few of these out and see where we're going. Big Bob Boston, you have Kulibao, Garbrandt, Ramos, Shabazian, Bruno Silva, and the other Silva. Or Kulibao, Dvorak, Esparza, Garbrandt, Shabazian, Silva. Yeah, that one. Your second lineup's the much better lineup. So let's take a look at some of these. We'll start at the bottom. We have Ismagulov versus Rafael Alves. This is such a wild discrepancy between these. I would go less on Ismagulov, more on Rafael Alves here. I've already played all of mine, and I don't think I have any money left. So I'm not going to play this one. So I'm going to go less, more is my play here because Ismagulov has had a 2-year layoff, and he's not a giant high-volume guy. But 37.5 is a very low number for Rafael Alves. So I would go less, more, and I would triple my money here. The next fight we have, well, it's canceled. Yancy Medeiros fight is done for anybody just jumping in now. And then we have Kulibao versus Yilan Shah. More. I think Kulibao blows through him. I guess you could do less, more if you think Kulibao gets a stoppage. 27.5 is not a lot of strikes. It's just not. I imagine most of these fights, people, even in first-round knockouts, people are going to land more than 30 strikes in a fight, unless it's a 1-minute knockout, obviously. Bruno Silva versus Victor Rodriguez. This is an interesting line. I think there's a stoppage here as well, but I would go more. I'm very heavy on the more for the Monkey Knife Fights for this card. Yancy Medeiros is done. Anyway, just popping in now. His fight dropped. Plan accordingly. Right now, I'm just looking at some of these. Did you see the rapid fire for the prelims? I got Rothwell. Yeah, those change. So every time, like you clicking on it and me clicking on it is a different fight, different option. This is the star shootout. So this is putting Court McGee against Ben Rothwell and Demir against Silva. I think Court McGee definitely throws more strikes than Ben Rothwell. Ben Rothwell is just going to hold him against the cage. I know Dan thinks it's a lot of pitter-patter from Ben Rothwell, and it may be, but Court McGee, I'm positive that fight's going to go 3 rounds. So Court McGee over Ben. Then Ismagulov and Claudio Silva. 5 for Claudio Silva. Ismagulov will definitely have more than Claudio Silva. How much money do I have in my account? Not enough. Damn. Oh, man. Court and Ismagulov. Hit this up now, guys. Deposit your money. Go hit this up. This is the undercard. This is the undercard star. What the hell do they call it? Whatever it is. This is the undercard star pick here. What the hell is it called? The undercard star shootout. Go to the prelim star shootout. Play Court McGee and Demir. You will triple your money. Do the $20 deposit. Get the instant match. Throw the free 20 on this. I'm very, very confident in these. Very confident in these. So hit those up. Let's go back to DraftKings. I hate it. MKF is not available in Missouri. You know what's so weird about that? So they're fantasy. It's not gambling. So you don't need to have sports betting legal in your state. What's so weird about that is I'm sure DraftKings is legal in Missouri. I don't know why some fantasy sports are and some are not. I don't know if these companies have to go out and get licensed in each individual state, and they haven't done that yet. But I've heard others, like Pennsylvania, for example, you can play all of the fantasy in Pennsylvania. I think you can even legally bet on sports in Pennsylvania, but Monkey Knife Fight's not available. So that is always a pain. Big Bob, you went 4 out of 5. You went more. Yeah, and this will be a weird one. We'll find out a lot. This is their very first card where they're doing all strikes, not just significant strikes. So I think they got a lot of the lines a little low. I think they were used to doing significant strikes. The line's a little lower. So they went less, or, it was not where it should be for every single strike. So I went more on most. Jesse Correia. I say Correia because I know so many Brazilians, and that's how they say it. But you're not Brazilian, so it's not a Portuguese thing. You just did it. Good. I'm confident in that. Don't hate my guts if it doesn't go that way. These are fist fights, but I'm very confident in that play. It's weird because DraftKings and all of these other websites are available, but I have 8,300 in my lineup. Who should I put in as my last play? What are your options at $8,300? Let's take a look. Sort by salary. $8,300. We'll start and work our way down. You could do Silva over McGee. You could do McGee. You could do Garbrandt. Garbrandt's good at $8,300. Carla Esparza would be a decent play. Shabazian, high risk, high reward play. Vandera has me looking. I am looking at Vandera. That's it. Those are the only people I would touch. Vandera can beat Taffa. And I know I'm not going to play him, and I'm not going to do Vandera, and then he's going to go out there and he's going to blow through Taffa. Or I am going to play him, and he's going to look like an idiot, just like he did in his last fight. But Vandera, I don't know why I'm drawn to him. He's a big dude. He's a very good wrestler. Taffa is not very experienced. It's funny that he's not experienced because Taffa is a name in the division, but he does not have a lot of fights. He doesn't have a lot of high-level fights either. But he's got that big Samoan head, the big Samoan power, and those big Samoan legs. So taking him down is hard, very hard. So can Vandera do it? I don't know. He looked terrible in his last fight, but he's a big guy. He does have his own heavy hands. He is wrestling heavy. He should be able to take Taffa down. He should be able to do it, and he should be able to beat Taffa. I just don't know. I just don't know how comfortable I am with that. I'm probably not going to play him, but we'll see. Vandera is like Cachero last week. Yeah, possibly. Except I think Vandera would win by grappling instead of knockout. But yeah, man, I don't know what to do with the Vandera fight. Let me know, guys. Weigh in here. Let me know about Vandera, what your thoughts are. I know Taffa is a name, and he has really heavy hands, really thick legs. And the legs are actually more concerning for me because I don't know if Vandera can take down that low center of gravity, big hips, big legs, Justin Taffa. I just don't know. So I don't have Vandera in my lineup. I may regret that later. If you are just hopping in, Yancy Medeiros, that fight is canceled. It is off. If you play DraftKings, plan accordingly. Make your changes. We're talking through them now. Hit me up with questions. Ask the rest of the crew in the chat. We're all here to help each other. We're here to see if we can all get rich sharing knowledge. So Yancy Medeiros, that fight is done. I swapped Medeiros for Shabazian. Shabazian is a high-risk, high-reward pick. He either wins by stoppage, scores a ton of points, or gets taken down and submitted, scores 0 to 0 points. So high-risk, high-reward. I'm going to stick with Shabazian for now. I did build an entirely different lineup without Shabazian in it. And that's what you're looking at on the screen here. It's Rob Font. I think he wins. Kulabau, I know he wins. Dvorak, I know he wins. Ramos, great fight, should win. Bruno Silva, I know he wins. And then Rafael Alves, because that's all I could afford. But he can win with heavy hands. Great submissions. He can get it done. It's going to be a fun night. I hate that this card starts early. So, guys, if you didn't know that, this is an early fight card. It starts the main card is at 6 p.m. Central Time. The undercard starts at 3 p.m. Central Time. So in an hour and 20 minutes, we got to get this all sorted out, lock these lineups in. And you know what? Let me walk you through, guys. This is what I'm going to do. I hate showing people what I do here, but this is what I'm going to do. These are my two real lineups here. Let me show you some of these contests that I play. Oh, we'll go to the lobby. I'll show you some of these contests that I play and how I make money, because 50-50s and double ups are the absolute way to go. Let's go to the lobby and jump in. David Ramon, from my experience from last week, I felt like an idiot that I didn't pick Cachero. Had a feeling she would win, but didn't follow my own intuition. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, man. Vandera could be a low-owned, could be contrarian. Yeah, so Vandera, and there's two styles. If you're new to DraftKings, there are two different ways to play DraftKings. There are cash games, and cash games are single entry lineups. You join a contest, you can only put one lineup in there. Then there are GPP. That stands for something, something, something. And basically GPP is, those are the huge ones, right? If you're looking at my screen here, these are GPPs, $350,000, $100,000 to first place. You could enter like 25, 30 lineups into that if you want. So if we click on it, how many lineups can I put in here? I could do 150 different lineups. So when we talk about, when people you see say low owned, when people hit up the chats talking about, I might put these in some GPPs. That's what we're talking about. The GPPs are these giant multi-entry contests. In order to win those lineups look very, very different than some of the other lineups. Those lineups are like mostly underdogs because you have to go with sort of the highest possible score anybody can get, and you don't want the same lineup as anybody else. So people do crazy combinations. Joe Todoro, thank you very, very much for the super chat. That's genuinely appreciated. Hopefully you're getting rich off of our stuff. I really appreciate it. You mentioned the Medeiros fight drop, which we've been talking about here. You have $8.3 thousand remaining. You went with Ramos. Yeah, Ramos is a great pick. If you didn't have Ramos and you could put Ramos in there, great pick. Thank you again for the super chat. Guys, anybody that wants to support the channel, if you're playing these lines, you're doing monkey knife fights, you're doing all this stuff, you're winning some money, you want to throw us a tip, there's super chat below in the chat. You click the little $, the super chat. We have a donation link in the comments. And then certainly you can click the join button, become a member, and that helps us as well. Vincent Lehman with 150, you could do every possible combination with these fights. Yeah, and keep in mind, you'd be spending $15 times 150. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm not a GPP guy. I don't like playing these giant GPP pools. I really don't. I don't. I am a cash game lineup. Let me walk you through how I make my money doing DraftKings. I go right to the 50-50s and double ups. So I usually do it in the app. How the hell do I do this here? Oh, okay. Got to pick my sport, dummy. So let's go into MMA. I'm going to do 50-50s and double ups. And what these are, they're very simple. You can only enter one single lineup, but you double your money, and they're different. 50-50s and double ups are different. 50-50s means half the people win. Half the people in a 50-50 will take home money. I'm 100% positive that me and every single one in this chat is better than half the people in these 50-50s. I'm positive. The double ups means you double your money. 50-50, you don't quite double your money because DraftKings takes a cut. Double ups, you double your money, but half don't win. It's like 40% win. But again, I am better than 60% of the people that play, and I'm sure you are as well. So you're doing a $5 triple up, top 6 wins of 20 people. I haven't done triple ups. So let's hit some of these double ups. I like to do the medium size ones, depending how much money I feel comfortable playing with. For now, because everybody's watching, I'm gonna do less. But I would not do the $200, the $300. I would not do those because those are sharks. Those are professional fantasy players. Otherwise, they wouldn't be risking that kind of money. So let's jump into some of these. I like the $25 one. See, entry 0, 0. So you want to get ones that are almost full. So let's do this one. It's a double up. There's one slot left. I will fill this up. And we're going to do this with one of my existing lineups. Can I just import a lineup here? Yeah, here we go. So we're doing a $25 double up. How do I have no lineups available? What is happening? I've built 1,200. Oh, this is captain's mode. I don't want captains. Oh, you son of a B. All right, let's go back. So captain's mode, I'm just overwhelming you guys with information. If you guys don't know what captain's mode is you can put one player in a spot and they score 1.5 times their normal points. So we're back to 50-50s and double ups. I don't want captain's mode. So let's go find, here's a $10 double up. It's almost full. Classic play. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to draft a team. It's $10. I just have to be better than 60% of the people in here. Let's go ahead, import a lineup. And I have 2 lineups. I'm going to do this one here. This is my normal lineup. I have Font, Kulibau, Dvorak. Oh, this is not my normal one. That is my high-risk one. This is my normal one. So we're going to throw my normal one in. I have Font, Esparza, Kulibau, Shabazian, Ramos, and Bruno Silva. We're going to throw that in there, entering $10. Now, I'm going to win $20. I have to be better than 60% of those people, and I will be. I am positive that I will be. Let's hit up another one. Checking chat here. Bob Basin, you're doing the triple up. Joe Todoro with every single member emoji. We appreciate that. What separates you guys from sharks? I think you guys are just as knowledgeable as them. Yeah, so sharks, that's a good question. We are very knowledgeable. We do very well. Sharks, they do this for a living. They do it for a living. They will play tens of thousands of dollars a week and play multiple combinations of multiple things and really try to get it done that way. So sharks are at a completely different level. They just are. So like we talked to the guy that sets the monkey knife fight lines. We talked to him. So he reaches out and he doesn't ask us what to do with his lines. That's his job. That's what he does. But we'll talk to him and he'll let us know how it went. And he says sharks will come and just hammer his lines, max bet. And they won't even look. They don't even look. There's no logic. They will just do more on every single one max bet or less on every single one max bet. And some weeks they get smoked. Some weeks it works out. But those are sharks. Spend tens of thousands of dollars every single week trying to make something happen. Let's look at some more 50-50s and double ups. Those are my go-to. I just have to be better than half the people, and I will be. King Rob, what's up, my man? How you doing? So, here's a couple more $10 double ups. And look for the bigger ones. Obviously, it's easier. So, here's another $10 double up, 34 people. So, in this one, I'll do my same lineup. We'll just spread it around. Let's import. So, this is what I do, guys. I do different denominations. This time I'm doing $10 because everybody's watching. All eyes are on me. But this is what I do. I do my 50-50s, my double ups. And when you watch my recap show on Sundays and I talk about how I won money in DraftKings, this is how I do it. So anybody that's just jumping in, the Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. That fight is done. It is gone. Adjust your lineups accordingly. What I have done, and DraftKings is letting us know that these 2 lineups here have not been adjusted. This is Dan and Jacob's lineups. Let me check my text message to see if these morons have made any swaps yet. I don't see. Yeah, no, these idiots didn't do anything yet. So you have 1 hour and 10 minutes to account for the Yancy Medeiros drop if you are playing DraftKings. If you're not playing DraftKings and you're here, what fight are you here for? What do you want to talk about? Let me know. Mahit Sharma said, who are you putting money on in the main event? Sorry, I didn't see that comment. Joe did a $10 super chat, and that's where my eyes went, obviously. So, Mahit, we have a full betting guide. I don't know if you watched our betting guide. We have a video dedicated to every single bet that we're making, where that money's going, what we're doing, how we're spending that money. So check that out. We walk through all of those bets, myself, Dan, and Jacob. Bob Basin, I love that you guys went live as soon as you heard there was a chance in lineups. Much love and respect. Also joined the league. Yeah, you joined the league. So Bob, here's some financial advice for you. You join the league. If you win the league this week, I'm going to Venmo you $15. Straight up, $15. If you're a member, which means you have a crown next to your name, and you click the join button underneath me, I'm going to Venmo you $30. So click the join button, become a member. It's a couple of bucks. But you're going to win a lot of money from me if you do well in these free DraftKings contests that we host. Vincent Lehman, Shailen versus Kulibao. I think Kulibao blows right through him. Blows through him. Shailen can grapple his way to a win. I don't see that happening. I think Kulibao absolutely smokes him. Absolutely smokes him. He does have a chance. I agree with you. He has a chance. The grappling is the path to victory. It's there. It is a path. I just don't think it's going to happen. King Rob, you're getting your first 30 this week. Good. I'm rooting for you. Big Bob Basin. So I bet on Monkey Knife Fight for Madero's fight. Does MKF Yeah, you'll get your money back. It'll probably be tomorrow morning. You'll probably get that money back tomorrow morning. That's when you also get paid out. You'll wake up in the morning. You'll get a bunch of emails saying you won. Here's your money. And then you'll get, here's your refund. So you get your money back when fights drop. That's not a problem. DraftKings will not give you your money back. You have to make that change. So if you have a lineup in DraftKings and Yancey's in your lineup, swap it. Otherwise, you're competing with 5 fighters instead of 6. King Rob, 30 equals 6 months of membership. Yeah, literally, you have to win twice a year and your membership's covered. And that's why we're doing it. Like, that's literally why. Like, we do this for free, meaning we have memberships so you can be a paid subscriber, but we're not hiding content. We're trying to give members even more. We're not trying to take away from everybody else. So, there are other Roto Grinders, for example. We watched the Roto Grinders MMA, UFC breakdowns. They're not very good. They're just not because, they're not MMA experts. Dan's a professional fighter, for Christ's sake. I managed fighters for 15 years. Like, they don't have that experience. They don't have that insight. So they have a great show. They have a nice product, but they don't have the insight that we have. And they charge $60 a month, 60, and that's for their 45-minute breakdown. We do a 2-hour breakdown for free, for nothing. And we're trying to grow. We obviously want to make money. And the way right now that we're making money is super chats. Joe sent the super chat earlier. It's a little $ in the live chat. We have a donation link in the description. We have the memberships. So we're trying to encourage members to join. And that's why we're giving away the $30 for members instead of $15. We're giving away $15 because we want people to be a part of this. We want people to be subscribers. We want people to join. We want people to participate. So we're bribing them with $15. We're giving members $30 because we want you to be a member. The other way we're making money is through affiliates and partnerships. Monkey Knife Fight. The more people play, the more people win, the better people do. We Monkey Knife Fight will take care of us for that. So that's why we're encouraging people to do that. That's why we also eat our own dog food. We pay Monkey Knife Fight like crazy. And we have a sportsbook partnership that we're about to announce. We just nailed it down. We have all of it squared away. What we're working on is that the bonus you get. So right now, Monkey Knife Fight, you get 100% instant match on your deposit, no strings attached. Online sportsbooks do attach strings. They make you play that money. So if you deposit $100, they give you a free 100. They make you play that free 100 multiple times before you can withdraw it. So you can't just deposit 100, get a free 100, play it, and then, I won money, let me withdraw. They make you play it like 10 times. So what we're working on now is we're telling the sportsbook, no. We want no strings attached match. So whatever that dollar amount is, that's what we're sorting out now. But we want a no strings attached match because we don't want you guys to go get your free money and then get frustrated because you can't do what you want with it. So anyway, that's how we make money. Super chats, donations, affiliates, and, we're here for the long haul. We're treating this like a business. We plan on growing like a business. So all of the support, all of the crowns, it's so unbelievably appreciated, and we will not forget you guys. Anybody who's not a member, wants to become a member, click the join button. Then let me know that you did, and you will get a Dan Kramer, who's the other host of this show, Topps UFC card. Vincent Lehman, he looked good at that weigh-in. Yeah, I don't know here. Oh, you're talking about Shaw looked good in the weigh-in? Yeah, he did. And the stare down was nuts. That was an awesome stare down. Our predictions are among the best. Thank you. It's appreciated. It really is. We try to be the best. We think we're the best. We think we have a great product between the graphics, the banter that we have. I think we're definitely the most entertaining. There's no way somebody with Tapology on their screen reading is more entertaining than what we do. What's our lock for more or less monkey knife fight matchup? Ooh, that is a very tricky question, my man. Throw some up there and I'll let you know which ones I like. The problem is they are fist fights. So monkey knife fight's a very different approach, meaning you want to play more than one. But I will say my lock, actually we just talked about it earlier. Here's my lock. It's the Star Showdown or Star Shootout. The Star Shootout takes two different fighters in different fights and you pick who's going to get more significant strikes. That simple. So the choice is, will Court McGee throw and land more strikes than Ben Rothwell? And Ben Rothwell gets 4.5 handicap. And will Damir Ismagulov throw or land more than Claudio Silva with 5.5? Damir is 100% the play. Court McGee, I'm pretty sure is the play. So in monkey knife fights, you ask me what my lock is. This is as close to a lock as you're going to get. And this is the Star Shootout. I think Court McGee over Ben Rothwell because I'm 100% positive Court McGee will be in a 3-round fight. Ben Rothwell may not be. And Damir Ismagulov is absolutely going to blow past Claudio Silva in his significant strike. So that's my quote-unquote lock for monkey knife fight. Jill, thank you very much. Jill, you are one of our biggest supporters. You donate, you participate, you are a member. We recognize it. We appreciate it. We're only getting bigger. We are not forgetting the people who were with us from the beginning. Anybody who is just hopping in now, we have 1 hour to go before your DraftKings lineups have to be locked in. And Yancy Medeiros, that fight is done. I don't know if DraftKings sent you the email, sent you the push notification, but that fight is done. I swapped Yancy Medeiros for Shabazian in a high-risk, high-reward fight. Shabazian can get a first-round knockout and score me enormous points, or he can get taken down, submitted, and score me 0 points. That's my play there, though. High risk, high reward. You are welcome, Jill. Thank you. Big Boss, Koulibaly versus Shaw. What would your current more or less be? I'm thinking less. Yeah, man. I don't have the lineup in front of me. This week, I'm doing a lot of more and mores because it is every single strike, not just significant strikes, and I think they got the lines low. If you think, here's the logic. If you think the fight will go the distance, hit more and more. If you think that there's a knockout or submission or a stoppage, take a closer look and do more or less, right? Do more on the higher, less on the lower, or whoever you think is going to get the stoppage. That's how I would play that. Brent Hinson, any logic behind doubling up the main tonight? 5 rounds possible. 5 rounds is possible. I almost doubled up the main. The only reason I didn't is because I am greedy and I'm trying to go 6-0. But certainly doubling up the main is not ridiculous. I do think he can go 5 rounds. It also can go the other. Cody Garbrandt could knock out Rob Font, and Rob Font could knock out Cody if he gets excited. But I think Cody's going to purposely be measured, and Rob Font's style is a measured style. So I think it does go quite a few rounds. I would, instead of doubling it up in DraftKings, I would do the more and more in Monkey Knife Fight, and then in DraftKings, chase that 6-0 lineup. Because let's say you double up and one of them gets knocked out cold, you wasted that spot. But if you put somebody else in that spot and you have the loser who gets knocked out cold, you still have somebody else that can help save you. So you're kind of where you are. I'm really hoping Alves absolutely goes through Ismagulov in round 1. Listen, Joey, Dan Kramer put a bunch of bets on Rafael Alves in the Ismagulov fight. I built a second lineup. After Yancy dropped, I have Font, Koulibaly, Dvorak, Ramos, Bruno Silva, and Alves. So what I was showing before I got sidetracked here is how I make my money when I play. So let's go to the lobby. And I'm going to enter that alternate lineup in a couple 50-50s and double-ups. That is the easiest way to make some money because all you have to do is be better than half the people playing. Every single person in this chat and me are better than half the people playing. I'm absolutely positive. I'm going to do a $25 one. And we are going to do that high-risk lineup that I just did because even that lineup is going to be better than half these people's lineups. I'm positive. I do it every week, and I make money every week. Hold on. I'll get to your comment in a second, Brent. Let me just submit this. Which one was it? Font, Koulibaly, Rafael Alves. It is this bad Larry right here. Enter it, $25. It is gone. and I will get $50 back later tonight. Brent Hinson, please show us Tapology and tell me where the fighters were born. It is crazy, man. Those Tapology channels. So listen, if somebody has Tapology up because they don't have a Jacob who can do the beautiful graphics that we have, we're very fortunate that Jacob does those graphics. Very fortunate. So if you have Tapology up because you need a backdrop and can't do graphics, I get it. The people that drive me nuts have Tapology up and they're just reading what's on the screen. So-and-so is 2-3 in their last 5. They're saying their last 5 because that's what's on the screen. He has a 2-inch reach advantage. All of that is crap and nonsense. What is on paper does not tell you who is going to win a fight. Matchups win fights. Height, length, reach. Those don't win fights unless it's the right matchup. So that's why I think we have much more success than others do. King Rob, Dvorak hopefully gets a finish. Yeah, he's in that high-risk lineup of mine. So I agree. We'll do 2 more $10 double ups. And I am going to use the high risk. Enter. Oh, shit. It's this lineup. Okay. And enter. Okay. So I just did about 5 or 10 50-50s and double ups. I used 2 different lineups. I don't normally do that. I used 2 different lineups, but I threw them in there. I'm going to win. I know I will. I always do. And Monkey Knife Fight this week, I spread my money out. I went through all of them. I got way too cocky. I literally did a $50 Monkey Knife Fight deposit, and I didn't have the benefit of a promo code because I did it before we had the deal. So I didn't get any free money. I only put my $50 in there, and then I ended up with like $500 a couple weeks later. I just started with 50. So last week I had all that money in my Monkey Knife Fight account, and instead of $50 on 10, I maxed out a couple. And I missed. And it was stupid. It was just stupid. Monkey Knife Fight is a volume game because they triple your money. You play 20, you win 60. So if you do the math, you can win 1, lose 2, and still not lose money. So as long as you get half right, you'll double your money. You get them all right, you triple your money. So Monkey Knife Fight is a spread your money out game. I didn't do that last week. Lesson learned. I hit them more and more on 90% of them this week. So I'm looking forward to what happens tomorrow. If I win, which I probably will, and DraftKings, you guys probably notice my balances aren't very high. I withdraw money every single week. So tomorrow, right now my balance is at 0 because I spent every dollar I have. I did a bunch of stuff before you guys were watching. Tomorrow, I'll hopefully have hundreds of dollars. I'll withdraw all of it except like 100 something. Then I'll play and then so on and so forth. That's how I do it. Steady money. Obviously, I'm chasing $100,000 if I can get that in one of the big GPP lineups, but it's very unlikely. So I chase the steady money instead of $15 GPPs. You'll never get that $50 back. It's just not going to happen. If you do, you'll be rich, but you're not going to get that $50 back. And with Monkey Knife Fights, do the same thing. So if I win, couple hundred in DraftKings, couple hundred Monkey Knife Fights. What we were doing is buying a conference room camera so that these live streams, not this one, but the main card live streams, those will be done in my media room. So Jacob and I will have some drinks, sit down on the couch, watch the fights there. We'll use a conference room camera to get both of us in there. It'll be a very casual setting. Right now, Jacob has to come here and sit in my office, or he does them by himself. Tonight, Jacob is doing a fight companion by himself. He is always a ton of fun, so that should be a good watch. If you're just hopping in now, Yancy Medeiros, that fight dropped. Make your DraftKings lineup changes. You have 55 minutes before your lineup will be locked. Joshua Suggs. Hey, guys, go Braves, but respect the Jeter. Derek Jeter, man, all-time great. All-time great. One of the coolest guys in the history of sports, period, end of story. That is not a debatable. Number 2 is Big Papi, both baseball guys. But Derek Jeter, coolest guy in the history of sports. Definitely never did steroids. Has the numbers he has, the championships he has, good looking as he is. Oh, God, Derek Jeter. He's a god amongst men in professional sports. Thanks for hopping in, Josh. Hopefully you're a subscriber. Join our DraftKings League. Let me know what you're here for, what you're looking for. We have a bunch of really good fights tonight. So let me go back here. We have a bunch of good fights tonight. So let me talk through a few of them. Main event, I personally have Rob Font winning the main event. I think Rob Font is the point fighter. Rob Font is the controlled fighter. Rob Font has the technical ability to bounce around, the composure and the chin to not get put away by Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt is the more explosive fighter and the more dangerous fighter. Cody Garbrandt definitely poses a bigger threat than Rob Font. With that being said, I think Rob Font... Okay, good. I just got the notification. I don't know if you guys got it, but I just got the notification the Yancey fight dropped. So they are pushing that out to people. Cody Garbrandt poses the bigger threat. Cody Garbrandt can put Rob Font's lights out. He also can get his lights put out. He's been chinny lately. So that's my analysis in the main event. I think Rob Font gets it done with his technical in and out boxing. There may be a wrestling game plan. We'll see what happens there. Co-main event. I think Carla Esparza wins this fight. She's fighting a very big, very good striker. And somebody went in the comment section and had an awesome breakdown. Obviously biased, but it was very well thought out and a lot of insightful, stuff there. And the breakdown essentially was that Carla Esparza is smaller. Carla Esparza, is not as good at striking and a few other things. But here's the deal. Carla Esparza has only been TKO'd twice against the greatest striker in women's MMA history and the best wrestler in women's MMA history. So those two, obviously that's going to happen. I think Carla's wrestling will get this done. She's an actual wrestler. She's not an MMA fighter who learned how to wrestle. She's an actual wrestler. She's not busy on top. You're 100% correct. So Josh said Esparza doesn't do much on top. And she doesn't need to win a fight. Right? She needs to get the takedown control. And don't get me wrong. This is not I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm not saying this is the lock of the week. Carla Esparza is going to it. No, that is not my position. She may get pieced up. I do think she wins, though. I'm not crazy over the top confident in it. I did put a little money on it for her to win by decision because if she does win, that is how she will win. But I think the wrestling is the difference because she is a real wrestler. And just like King Rob just said, Jan is not a finisher. She's not a finisher. So she's not going to put Carla away, which means Carla has more and more time to work those takedowns, work that wrestling, and make something happen. So I do like Carla Esparza in that fight. Let's pull up. Just got to see what these other fights are. The Yancy Medeiros fight dropped. For anybody that's just hopping in right now, the Yancy Medeiros fight is off the card. If you're doing DraftKings, adjust your lineups accordingly. Then we have Jared Vanderaa versus Justin Tafa. I was talking about this earlier. Man, I want Jared Vanderaa so bad. Meaning, I think, hold on, I got to sneeze. What a viewing experience that must have been for you. I apologize. So, Jared Vanderaa versus Justin Tafa. I don't know what to do here. Jared Vanderaa let us down big time in his last fight. He got pieced up by Spivak, a much smaller fighter. He got absolutely pieced up. But, thank you, Joe. This is a good matchup for him. He's big. He's a wrestler. Tafa is not a wrestler. But Tafa's got those heavy hands and those giant Samoan hips. So he may be hard to take down. I don't know what to do. Like, my heart is saying, Jared. My brain is like, he let you down last time. You'd be stupid to play him. So that's what I'm thinking there. Let me know what you guys think with that fight. Frank Jadon said, Jan is every bit as live as Esparza, and she scores half decent. I'm really having a hard time with this one. Yeah. First of all, Jan's supposed to win this fight. She's the favorite, a big favorite. She's supposed to win this fight. And her striking is very good. She's busy on bottom to get back up. Everything says she can win this fight. Everything says she should win the fight. I personally just think Carla Esparza will get it done. And it's maybe bias. I know her. But I personally think Carla Esparza can get it done because the wrestling, and it's real wrestling. She wrestled her whole life not just during MMA. How do you join the DraftKings League? There's a description to this video, Josh. Click the see more, whatever it is. There's a description. There's a bunch of links in there to donate, to support, all this other stuff. There's one that says join our DraftKings League. Join the league, enter the contest. If you are a member, I'll give you $30 if you win the league. If you're not, you get $15 if you win. Kayla, wait, they just changed the opponent for Kulibao. Yes, Kulibao has a new opponent. That happened yesterday. Play Kulibao. I have Kulibao. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I'm thinking Dvorak. They didn't change Kulibao's opponent. Did they? No, they just, okay, there you go. Yeah, Dvorak has a new opponent. So if you can afford Dvorak, his opponent took that fight on 1 day notice. Kulibao has the same opponent. Kulibao is in my lineup as well. So Yancy Medeiros dropped. Get those fixes in. You have about 50 minutes to get that done. Unless Nunez is Sean Lilan. Yes. Joe, my head is legit stuck with Alves versus Vandeira. I know if I hit on Alves, especially with a finish, he'll be on the low-owned side. Yeah, so Joe, if you're in cash lineups, go Vandeira. That's the safer pick. If you are in GPPs, then go with Alves because he will be very low-owned, and that could help springboard you to the top. Guys, let me show, and gals, let me show my... We're not going to do Monkey Knife Fight. Let me show my DraftKings. You guys seem to be popping in right now. You got to get these locked in the next 40 minutes or so. Vandeira will let you down again. He should smoke Tafa, and he won't. He will chase a takedown and fail. He may. I mean, listen, he looked like a bum. And I hate to say that about, I've worked with professional fighters for a long time. I have to maintain some sort of professional relationship with a lot of people. So I should not be calling people bums, but he let me down big time. Let's go through, look at some of my lineups here. Anybody that's making changes, Yancy Medeiros has dropped. I have 2 active lineups. One lineup, I swapped out Yancy Medeiros for Edmund Shabazian. That is a high-risk, high-reward play. Shabazian either wins by knockout or gets smothered and submitted. Feast or famine. He scores 100 or he scores 0. So that's the swap I made for Yancy. I would have preferred Yancy, but that's the swap I had to make. Then I built an entirely different lineup. I started from scratch. I have Rob Font, who I think wins the fight. Kulibao, who I know wins the fight. Dvorak. Dvorak has an opponent who is a wrestler, which is a problem. But his opponent took this fight at weigh-ins. Took the fight at weigh-ins. Not even 24 hours. So he should win. Ramos, great fight, great matchup. Should score 1,000,000 points, win or lose. Bruno Silva will win, should get a stoppage. And then Rafael Alves. That is the only way I could have afforded 3 people over $9,000 was Rafael Alves. He can win. Heavy, heavy hands. Great submissions. He can absolutely win this fight. I'm not going to bet my life on it, but I did play this lineup in a couple of 50-50s and double-ups. I think it's definitely, let's put it this way, even if Alves doesn't score, the others will score enough for me to win money in 50-50s and double-ups. And that's why I'm the biggest 50-50 and double-up advocate on planet Earth. It is the way to go, the most consistent money you'll ever make are 50-50s and double-ups and DraftKings. You're here watching me, listening to me, which means you care and you're doing research. I do my research. We're all here doing what we're supposed to do. Half the people in these 50-50s and double-up don't. They're just hopping in, playing, especially on the big cards. But they're just messing around, seeing if they can get it to work. Maybe they have money in DraftKings from a different sport. They're going to try MMA. You're going to beat them. You're going to take their money. That's why 50-50s and double-ups are consistent money week over week. So is Monkey Knife Fight. Monkey Knife Fight is the easiest money you will ever make playing fantasy. That is not an exaggeration. Let me pull it up for anybody that doesn't know what it is. We'll just go to the main event here. Monkey Knife Fight, all you have to do is say who will land more strikes in this fight. Will Rob Font land more than 72? Or will Cody Garbrandt land more than 44? And you just pick them more or less. Rob Font, 72? It's a high number. I'm going to say less. I'm going to go more. I think it's going to go. This is a tricky one. This is probably a bad example. And Cody Garbrandt's definitely going to do more than 44. So if you play more and more, You play $20. You play 20 to win 60. You triple your money. Play more than one of these so that you're protected if you lose one. That math is very simple. You win one, you lose two, you break even. Very simple math. Monkey Knife Fight, easiest money you will ever win playing fantasy. Period. End of story. And it's not just a sales pitch because we have a promo code. That's just the absolute God's honest truth. Let me just show my DraftKings real quick for anybody just hopping in. Yancy Medeiros dropped. These are the changes I've made, these two lineups for the Yancy Medeiros drop. Let me catch up on the group chat. Yes, to put Alves in 50-50. Yes, I would put Alves in your 50-50s and your double-ups. Absolutely. And I just talked through that. 50-50s and double-ups, everybody here is better than half the people, period. You're doing your research. You care. You're Googling. You're searching. You're watching tape. And if you didn't watch it, we did, and we told you what happened. So, yes, you will beat half the people. Unless, obviously, you go 0 for 4, which is very unlikely. Joshua, love this dude. Here to stay. SUVs and liked. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. There's 3 of us. It's not just me. I've managed fighters for 15 years. I managed Dan, who's the other person on the show. Dan fought in the UFC, was on the Ultimate Fighter Season 7. He made his professional debut in the UFC. Dan is the only person in modern UFC era to make his professional debut in the UFC, and he was like 20. So they basically, and he won. He won that fight. Because he won that fight, he got this beautiful Topps UFC trading card. And if you're a member, you have a crown next to your name, you already have your card or it's on its way or you didn't ask for it yet, so ask me for it and I will send it to you. If you want one, click the join button. But Dan trains an American Top Team, and that gives him, you guys, I mean, you watch the tape, you hear how technical his breakdowns are. You're never going to get insight like that. The fact, it's not just that he was a professional fighter, there's tons of them out there, but it was that he's a professional fighter training with some of the best people on planet Earth and some of the best coaches on the planet for 15 years. That's why, he's able to see things the way he sees them. In DraftKings, it annoys the hell out of me. It's great for the channel, but it annoys the hell out of me. Dan goes 6 for 6 at least once a month and 5 for 6 every single week. And it's annoying because him and I have a side bet, an ongoing side bet, where literally at the end of the night, whoever had the higher score wins, and the other person Venmo's money. So I am very annoyed at how well Dan does, but he that insight that he has and the firsthand experience of training with some of these people side by side, but just having phenomenal coaching, being in there, he knows what he's looking at, he sees mistakes, and he's able to pick those fights apart. Can I get some Twitter handles? Our Twitter handle is at We Want Picks. Dan's is D Kramer, ATT. Jacob's is JT Lines, and mine is Angelo Bodetti. But the channel one is We Want Picks. And you can search our names if you'd like. Edmund looks really good, and Hermanson gets dropped every fight. I'm worried Edmund comes out too slow, trying not to gas, gets wrestled until he gasses. I have Shabazian in my lineup. I made that swap for Yancey. Yancey's done. I had to make a change. I went with Edmund. High risk, high reward. I agree. He either gets taken down and submitted, or he scores 200 million points. Oh, look at that, Josh. You just submitted, or you just followed us. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. Or he gets that first round knockout and is just 200 million points. Kayla, yes to put Alves. Yep. Jessica Hera, 72 if he gets to the ground. I agree. Big Bob Basin, 4 of them. I went more. But on the Tafa fight, I went to fantasy points and went less. So we'll talk about that in 1 minute. And then David Ramon, I got an email yesterday that said that my Arkansas wrestling shirt should arrive next Thursday. My man, David. Yeah, that's good. So we use Teespring. We upload our graphics. They take care of all of that and send out the shirts, and that's awesome. Like, guys, I know a couple of you people bought those. So when you get it, take a picture. That's awesome. I'm glad you scooped that up. That's my favorite inside joke on the channel. Anybody who doesn't know, Jacob was breaking down a fight, and I forget who it was, but it was somebody in Arkansas, and he's a wrestler. And Jacob, who's not a professional fighter, didn't compete in any combat sports, but puts his research in. King Rob, it's at shop.wewantpicks.com. You can buy that shirt. So Jacob said something like, well, and he's an Arkansas wrestler and they're fantastic. And he was 100% serious. I've wrestled my entire life. My entire life has been spent on a wrestling mat. I've never come across an Arkansas wrestler in the finals of a tournament, in the semifinals of a tournament, in the quarterfinals of a tournament. So I was like, Jacob, what are you talking about? He is not. So that became an inside joke, Arkansas wrestling, so we made the shirt. Suleiman M, if Rothwell loses, he needs to retire. I don't know what his current streak is, but I don't know. I don't think so, honestly. TJ Brown and Bryce Mitchell, that's right. I don't think Rothwell's going to win or going to lose. So I agree. If he loses to a short notice Chris Barnett, that's a really bad look. I don't see him losing, though. I think he smothers Chris Barnett. Ben Rothwell is one of the all-time sloths. Giant man, good everywhere, experience for days, rock-solid chin. He is going to remove Chris Barnett's athleticism from the equation, hold him against the cage, and ride out what I'm expecting to be a boring decision. He may take him down off the cage and then beat him up there. Either way, I see Ben Rothwell winning. If you are just hopping in now, Yancy Medeiros, that fight dropped. I have my DraftKings lineups up here. If you want to see them, ask me questions. If you choose, you have about 40 minutes, 30-something minutes to lock in your lineups before DraftKings does it for you. So swap out Yancy Medeiros. If you are new here, we do weekly fight breakdowns, DraftKings lineups, monkey knife fight prop parlay picks, and full betting guides. We do it all for free, and we do it every single week. I have managed fighters for 15 years. Dan Kramer, who is also on this show, is a professional fighter. So we have what I think is the eyes and ears to get you guys rich. David, TJ Brown and Bryce Mitchell. Yes, that's who it was. Medeiros got pulled out, and first place I went to was this channel. I appreciate it, Nancy. I genuinely appreciate that. And I appreciate the color of your crown. You and David have the second month crown. Anybody who's a member, your crown starts as green, and the longer you stick around, the colors will change over time. So thank you for the support, and thank you for the long-term support. If you don't have a crown and you want one, click the join button under this video. Joshua Suggs, Roth is one of the most durable UFC fighters in history. Yeah, Ben Rothwell 100% is. That's why I don't see Chris Barnett's athleticism winning this fight. If he is athletic as he is and he's fighting somebody with a lesser chin, that's a much more interesting fight. But I agree, Ben Rothwell is an animal. By rear naked choke, says King Rob. I have Ben Rothwell to win by stoppage, so I hope there's a stoppage there. But there may not be. But yes, it could be. If it gets to the ground, it's by any way he wants. He could just elbow punch in the mouth. His ground control is phenomenal. I think he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he can do whatever he wants there. Joe Todoro, I just realized something for Hermanson. If it wasn't for that Kurt Angle ankle lock he got on Gastelum, he would be on a 3-fight losing streak. Yeah, I mean, it is funny. You're looking at my lineup here. I have Shabazian in that lineup. My fear is that he gets taken down. But Hermanson, it doesn't have a granite chin. He's not iron-jawed. He absolutely can get put out. Anti-music, Barnett, spinning wheel kick. Barnett always gives up his back, says King Rob. Yeah, you guys watched the breakdown video. I know Barnett. I spent some time with him. First of all, dude could not be more fun. Just a fun-loving, happy guy. He doesn't get intimidated. If you're picking against him because you think, oh, Chris Barnett is taking this on short notice in the UFC, he's scared. He's not scared at all. He's he embraces the moments. Go look at his UFC debut or his pro debut. His pro debut was against a guy with 54 fights, and Chris had zero background in MMA or any meaningful martial art whatsoever, and he still fought a dude who was 50-something with 50-something professional fights and won. So he does not get intimidated. The moment doesn't get to him, and if anything, he rises to the occasion. With that being said, Ben Rothwell is a beast. He's a giant man who knows how to fight and is not losing. Barnett always gives up his back, says King Rob. Yeah, I mean, he's a little sloppy on the ground. He's a little roly-poly on the ground. His striking is very good and his athleticism is phenomenal, but on the ground, he's a bit lost. Barnett is like an OG that never committed full time. That's exactly what he is. He's been around forever. And he has a couple of fights in Japan. If you look at his wins and losses, a lot of them are like in Japan in these quote unquote freak show fights at 350 pounds. Wish he would have committed. I agree. Listen, I don't know what his circumstances are. Being a professional fighter is not a lucrative career at all, especially up and coming. I mean, Dan was fortunate enough to be able to move down to American Top Team, and he had the relationships there that he was able to live for free for a while. So for a while, he lived for free. American Top Team owns housing. They own a hotel. Dan Lambert, the owner, has a hotel that he owns. And then they own a bunch of like properties, houses. And they really liked Dan Kramer. He's a perfect size to train with a lot of these guys. He has all of the abilities to give all these people good looks. He's smart. You know, they really enjoyed him. So they took care of him. They gave him some housing, gave him a place to stay while he got established. So he had a nice path and was afforded some opportunities. Chris Barnett, I don't know his personal life, but it's not easy. Dedicating your life to being a professional MMA fighter is not easy. You somehow have to pay your bills and be able to train. So it's not an easy gig. That's why so many of those guys are 50-50. I mean, what's his name? Oh, I'm going to forget his name, so the story's pointless. The dude was working at Starbucks and got the phone call to fight Daniel Cormier. Was still working at Starbucks because he needs every dollar he can get to pay his bills, and was a professional fighter at the level that they would put him in against Daniel Cormier. So it's not an easy life. So Barnett did not commit, but honestly, he probably couldn't. Barnett is the only big dog that I have confidence in. I really want Barnett to win. I'll be screaming, yelling at the TV, rooting for him to win. The other dog that has an actual chance, but unlikely, is Rafael Alves. It was Pat Cummings. Thank you, Robo Chicken Wings. It was Pat Cummings. Danny Kramer, we were just talking about you. What the hell was I saying? Dan threw me off here. Rafael Alves. Dan has a lot of bets on Rafael Alves. Check out the betting guide that we uploaded. He's pretty confident in that. Hermanson tested positive for COVID at the end of his training camp. He was not able to train 100%. Edmund might be live for a knockout. I have Shabazian in my lineup on the screen. We have 3 lineups that you can see. This one that's red is Dan's. Dan, tell us who you swapped Yancy Medeiros out for. The first 2, I covered my swaps. I didn't cover your swap. All right, you're going with Esparza. Let me do that now. I will swap in Esparza. Can you afford her? Where is she? Okay, so this is Dan's lineup. Let's save it. So, anybody just hopping in now, we have a half an hour before your lineups are 100% locked and loaded. Yancy Medeiros is out. I swapped Yancy for Edmund Shabazian in my lineup, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Daniel swapped him for Carla Esparza. Good swap. I did Shabazian. Shabazian is feast or famine. Shabazian is going to get taken down, ridden out, score 0 points, or knock Hermanson out and score 120 points. So I'm riding with Shabazian there. Dan Kramer, we have our weekly bet. I will be betting you with this lineup on the screen. I'm assuming that one is yours against me. So King Rob, lock of the week, seriously is a live dog. I don't always agree with Jacob, but I do this time. Listen, I give Jacob an incredibly hard time, so much so that sometimes it affects his mood. So I really just beat on him bad. With that being said, he puts his time in, he puts his research in, and he does good work and has good picks. So I agree with his lock of the week this week. I like Alves too. Follow Dan on some of the props. You're not done yet. What do you mean you're not done yet? So why don't you put what you're doing in the chat here? We have 30 minutes and then I'm out. And these lineups are locked in, Danny boy. So if you're just hopping in now, Dan Kramer, professional fighter, co-host of this show, is in the chat. So ask him your questions now while he is here. He's like a unicorn. Very hard to get in touch with Dan. Feast or famine has to be the new emoji. You know what? So here's the deal. Here's how the emojis work, King Rob. Depending on how many subscribers we have, or how many members we have, members are the people with crowns next to their name, YouTube tells us how many emojis we can have. Right now, we have one empty slot. So in that empty slot, I can do one. We could do feast or famine. Or if we get, I think like 8 more, we get an extra slot. So guys, click the join button. Let me know what emojis you want, and then we can go. Big Ange, finally the respect I deserve. Dan, tell everyone at ATT I said, what's up? They will know what it means. Hey guys, King Rob says, what's up? Joe Todoro with Dan, feast or famine. Listen, guys, tell you what. The people making fun of me for saying feast or famine are the same people that will come back on Sunday, go to the individual videos and be like, oh, you picked that wrong. You give all of your picks, and I'm talking to you guys. I'm talking to the trolls that hit up those picks. Tell you what, we lay out 14 picks every single week with detailed breakdown publicly. You do that. Submit your list of picks, and then we'll compare who's right and who's wrong. You can't just pick and choose the one that's off. Same with feast or famine. You talk for 10 hours a week and try not to say the same thing more than a couple times. It's not easy, guys. It is not easy. Dan, what's your more or less line? This is Jesse Cajera asking. Your more or less line in the Vandera-Taffa fight. We know you love Vandera, so what's your thoughts there? And Antsy Music says, do you guys think Culibao is a lock this week? Yes. Absolutely, Culibao is a lock. The stare down was intense. People keep talking about it. It's funny. It was an intense stare down, and Shock can win with grappling. I just don't think it's going to happen. Culibao is close to a lock, and if you need any more reassurance, every single one of us had Culibao in our lineups for that exact reason. Feast or famine. Listen, guys, you know what? Maybe we will do. I need more members. We need like 8 more members, and then the new emojis can be feast or famine, and then you guys can pick if we're going feast or if we're going famine. But I need 8 more members to make that work. Scratchers and 40. That is Dan. Dude, scratchers and 40 ounce and dip describe Dan to a T. On camera, he's polished, he's buttoned up. Off camera, he's picking scabs, scratching off lottery tickets, and duct taping 40s to his hands. He is just all in on this gambling lifestyle. Going to be feast for both. You see, now I do. You know what? It is feast or famine. I need more members. Guys, click join if you're not a member so we can get those emojis. There's literally nothing I can do. I can't. That's not just a plea. There's nothing I can do to get more emojis until we have more members. Just quadruple checking. Yeah, anti-music. Loyal supporter. The beautiful color crown. Thank you very much, guys. Anybody new here, thank you for jumping in. We do weekly fight breakdowns. I've managed fighters for 15 years. Dan Kramer, professional fighter for 15 years at some of the highest levels on the planet. Nick Newell, who's not here because he's fighting for Bellator on June 11th, professional fighter. If you don't know who Nick is, Nick's the fighter with one arm. You have probably seen him on ESPN. You've probably seen him in his Tommy Hilfiger ads. Nick Newell is an incredible fighter that took a round from Justin Gaethje in their fight. He was 16-0 at the time with 15 first-round finishes. So Nick Newell, the real deal. Dan Kramer, the real deal. I've managed fighters for 15 years. And then we have Jacob, who does incredible research and makes everybody laugh. So we've got something special here. If you're not a subscriber, please hit subscribe. If you love what you get, consider a super chat. Click the join button. Support us. Every dollar that comes in this channel goes right back into the channel. We will be upgrading. I keep talking about this when I'm waiting a few weeks. We will be upgrading our audio video equipment to do live fight companions from my media room with a conference room camera, some boom mics attached to the wall. So we're literally building that out. Dan Kramer's final lineup is Alves. Let me build it for you, buddy. I'll do this for you. We'll just ditch. So, Yancy Medeiros is gone. He's out. We're walking through our final lineups. Jacob was too serious this week. I figured he busted out the MMA. Jacob was serious because I was very mean to him. Very mean to him. Okay, so let's build Dan's lineup here. You have Culibao. Oh, I hate doing this, man. It's so hard to find these. Culibao. Dan has Kulibau. Dan has Alves, Dvorak, and Esparza. Dvorak, Alves, Carla Esparza. Come on, Carla Esparza. Garbrandt and Bruno Silva. Cody and Bruno. So let's say this. This is Dan Kramer's final lineup. Final. Because we did have a drop. So Dan is going Cody Garbrandt in the main event. We talked about essentially your... Should I change it again real quick after? Yeah, okay. Well, and you're out of the chat. So Cody Garbrandt, watch Dan's breakdown for the insight there. Essentially, he thinks there's more upside at the lower price. Cody Garbrandt can win by knockout and can do that early. Carla Esparza, her wrestling and her control can be the difference between winning or losing in this fight. Kulibau, we think, wins across the board. Dvorak is facing a last-minute replacement. So Kulibau's opponent literally took the fight at weigh-ins. So not even 24 hours notice. He is a wrestler. That could be a little bit of an issue for Dvorak, but not so much that I wouldn't play Dvorak at that price point. DraftKings does not change user or player costs if they get a last-minute replacement. Doesn't happen. So some solid insight for you there. Bruno Silva is going to win by stoppage. And then Dan's going with Rafael Alves with the feast, the Hail Mary feast over, what's his name? Demir. Alves can win with his hands and his grappling. His opponent is good absolutely everywhere. But Rafael Alves is live in this fight. Dan put money on it. I have him in my lineup as well because in order to afford a couple of $9,000 people, I needed Rafael Alves. And frankly, he has knockout power. He has submissions. He can get it done. So I think he'll score decent even in a loss, but he can get a solid win. And his opponent's coming off a 2-year layoff. So, you know, the stars are somewhat aligned for him to have a giant upset, and we've seen those lately. Big Bob Boston. What's up, Dan? I have Kulibau, Dvorak, Esparza, Garbrandt, and Shabazian with Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva's a lock. Esparza, very good underdog. Dvorak is pretty much a lock. Kulibau's pretty much a lock. Main event could go either way. Shabazian, feast or famine. He either gets the knockout or gets held down and submitted. He's going to score 0 points or 100 points in DraftKings. That should be a very interesting fight. Dan likes Shabazian too. The more he thinks about it, the wrestling style for Manson, I think it would be tough to him to get to the ground. A lot of these other breakdown channels, you know, Pull Up Tapology, they talk about, oh, Shabazian, Derek Brunson took him down. Derek Brunson's a very good wrestler. A very good wrestler. So talking about Derek Brunson out-wrestle Shabazian, so Jack Hermanson definitely will, is ridiculous. Derek Brunson would smoke Jack Hermanson in a wrestling match. He's the much better wrestler. Jack Hermanson's the better grappler. But, you know, we're talking about getting the takedown here. So Shabazian is who I swap for Yancy Medeiros. You guys have 20 minutes to lock your lineup in. Let us know if you have questions now. Dan Kramer in the chat. Dan goes 6 for 6 at least once a month, which is very annoying. I side bet him every week. I win some weeks. I lose others. It's crazy how people wrote off Edmund so fast. It is crazy, especially because it's not like, what the hell's his name? It's not like Hermanson isn't on his own little skid, right? Hermanson has a few losses as well. Edmund's got the one to somebody who could be contending for the title right now. So I agree. People don't give Edmund the credit he deserves. This is a tricky matchup, though, because of the grappling versus striking. But Edmund is a beast. Edmund has the power. I swapped Yancy for Edmund when the Yancy fight dropped, so I'm pretty comfortable in it. It is my lineup versus Dan. So everybody looking right now, this first one here is my lineup. This third one is Dan's lineup. We bet money on the side every single week. Who do you think is going to win this week? Is Dan Venmoing me tonight, or am I Venmoing him? Check out our lineups. We're heads up in the main event. We both have Esparza. We both have Kulibau. He has Dvorak. I do not. I have Ramos. We both have Bruno Silva. It's basically going to come down to, is Ramos going to score more points than Alves, is what this is going to come down to. or Shabazian more than Dvorak? This is going to be a close one between us. Let me know. If you're a member, use the fancy dancy emojis to let me know who you think wins between me and Dan. Does the first lineup or the third lineup have the most amount of points? Let's catch up on some group chat here. It's crazy how people wrote off Edmund. Yes, it is. Yes, sir. Let's get this money. I agree, Big Bob. Jack on his way out, maybe. Wrestlers tend to have longer careers because they don't engage in the striking, so their chins hold up a bit longer. So we'll see what happens. Who does Dan have in the main event? Dan's lineup is the one all the way to the right. He has Cody Garbrandt in the main event. And Dan just telling lies about Venmo. I mean, dude, are we 2-2 in the last 4 weeks? Like, relax, buddy, relax. Big Bob, thank you, Angelo, for going live after finding out about the Yancey cancellation. Let's get this money. You are welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I straight up. We're here to help. We're here to help you guys make money. We want to make money as well. This is a business, but obviously we're not going to be successful if you're not successful. So we're here giving you insight, giving you information, giving you our picks. We're also here to entertain the hell out of you. Thank you, Brent. Brent, you're not only a member, but you also just did a super chat. It is very appreciated. It genuinely is. I can't express enough how much we appreciate that. Legitimately. Like, you know, we knew we would do well, right? When we started this, we knew we had something special very quickly. What I didn't know was how great you guys would be. I had no idea that you guys would be so willing to engage, so willing to participate and go back and forth with us and have fun with us. I had no idea that was going to happen, and I freaking love it. I absolutely love sort of the community that we're building here. So, Brent, thank you. Everybody else in the chat that's just contributing either financially by clicking the join button or contributing just with your time, it is very appreciated. We are in this together, and we will not forget you guys when we are massive. We've got big boy plans with some of the partners that we have and what we're going to do here, and you will not be forgotten. So thank you very much. Shabazian is fighting out of Glendale, California. Let me change my lineup. Go get it, bud. Kramer, King Rob, very close one to call, but I think Garbrandt is one of the most talented fighters in the sport. Garbrandt 100% is one of the most talented fighters in the sport. Joshua Suggs, thank you very much. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you. I think you're newer here. It is appreciated. Again, cannot express enough what this means to us and what having you guys on board does for us. Not only does it help us give you a better product, the more money we make, the more money we can reinvest, but you know, it's reassuring. We're doing the right things. We're going to continue down this path. Anybody who has an opinion on what you would like out of us, let us know. We literally analyze stats to see what are people watching, where are they engaging, what do they like, what don't they like. So let us know. If there's content you love right now, let us know. If there's content you want that you're not getting, let us know. Right now we do the full fight breakdowns. We do the DraftKings breakdowns. We do the Monkey Knife Fight breakdowns and the betting guides. Literally every possible way. I'm counting, but my camera's cut off. Every possible way you could make money watching fights is what we do. So let me know if there's something that you're not getting that you want, and we will get it for you. Big Bob Basin with the crown. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. The news, Big Bob, two things. One, you are a member now. You you get these fancy Dan Kramer UFC Topps cards. Shoot me your address either on Twitter, find the Facebook page, Instagram, DM us, shoot the address, and we'll mail you a Dan Kramer card. Join the DraftKings League. You can now make $30 instead of $15 because you're a member. Welcome to the club. Congratulations. I was just reiterating what Dan said, that Cody Garbrandt is unbelievably talented. If you don't believe that, go back. What's wrong with Angelo with the names? What did I do with the names? Angelo, Jesus, Mary. I've been talking for 2 hours. If you question Cody Garbrandt and his ability and his talents, just go watch his fight against Dominic Cruz. That guy is an absolute animal when he's on. And that's his name, Big Bob Basin or Boston. That's his name, my man. Dan doesn't know how the internet works, guys. It's fine. All right, fine. I said it wrong, man. We covered this. I'm on here for hours on end, just talking nonstop. I'm basically my wife at this point. Pierre Exelholm, my man, you're also very, very generous all the time, and it is always appreciated. Rafael Alves win by knockout. We all get rich if Alves wins by knockout. All of us. All of us. Dan Kramer went crazy with the bets. I threw him in a few of my lineups. It's not an underdog lock, but it is definitely something that could happen. And he could get a submission. He's live everywhere. Antsy Music, a Discord type chat for members. So if you want a members only chat, that is a good idea. We can do Discord and you guys could chat with each other. I can set up a Discord. We do have a Facebook group. It's not members only. I don't know how to make it members only. I guess I could do that. But we do have a Facebook group as well. So I know lots of you guys talk in the comments and go back and forth. And obviously that's not ideal if you're trying to have a back and forth. So Discord, good idea. Others, let me know if you want a Discord. We'll make a Discord and it'll be invite only for members. Bearded Ganja, I did cover the cancellation. Yancy Medeiros is out. We have 15 minutes to lock these lineups in, so I will let you know what we did. I went with Shabazian. I dropped Medeiros because that fight dropped, obviously. Big Bob Boston, thank you. I dropped Yancy Medeiros, and I subbed in Shabazian. Shabazian is a feast or famine in this play. He either gets held down and or submitted, scores no points, or gets the first round knockout and scores a ton of points. But I like him in that spot, and at that price point, that was a great option for me. Daniel Kramer went with Carla Esparza when he dropped Yancy. Another great play. Carla's a solid underdog, but that wrestling can get it done. She's an actual wrestler, wrestled her whole life, not just started training MMA, learned how to wrestle, a real wrestler. And Dan talked about his Alves bets. He wants to make sure that nobody here is misled. So for the record, Dan thinks Alves will probably lose, but there is a lot of upside for a finish. Ismagulov is a decision machine. He's been off for 2 full years. Rafael Alves has been active. He has heavy hands, and he has solid submissions, so there is a lot of opportunity there. I agree, King Rob. I'm a big... Layoffs to me are a problem because especially for strikers, and Dan will tell you this, timing is everything in MMA striking. Wrestling, you can make happen. You don't forget that wrestling timing, and even if you take a bad shot, you can make it work. In striking, timing is everything. You need to feel it. You need to be in there to get your timing down, to not be afraid to engage, and to really make that happen. A 2-year layoff for somebody who's primarily a striker is a problem. I like Rafael Alves. He's not, I don't do a lock of the week. Jacob does. He's not a lock of the week. He's too far for that, but he's certainly a real opportunity there to make some actual money with those odds. 10 minutes to lock in lineups. If you have questions, ask them now. Yancy Medeiros is gone. He disappeared. He's done. So my wife's texting me. I left my daughter's Hot Wheels outside. Well, she's going to wait. Nobody's going to steal it. So 10 more minutes and then I'm dropping. We have an awesome card in front of us. I'll tell you what fights I'm looking forward to the most. The main event, obviously. That's an awesome main event. And also the Jared Vanderaa Taffa fight, because Jared Vanderaa really let us down a couple months ago, but I think he's live for this fight. So my heart doesn't know what to do with that fight. I think he can get it done, but I'm very interested to see that one. But I think fight of the night will be Ramos versus Aguilar. I think that's by far the most exciting fight of the night. And let's just check out Monkey Knife Fight very quickly. I want to see what some of these lines are. Monkey Knife Fight. So we have 10 minutes to lock in DraftKings lineups. Monkey Knife Fight, you can play the entire night. So as you're watching fights, this is what I would do. If you haven't played yet, jump in and play. Go to playmkf.com/WeWantPicks, promo code WWP, get your free money. While you're watching the card, You know how these things go? Some of these cards are just knockout heavy. Every fight, knockout, 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 knockout. Other cards, it's just decision, decision, decision. That's just how these things go. There is no logic behind that. It's just how it works. So if you see that these fights are ending quickly, if you see these fights are going long, hit up some of these Monkey Knife Fight lines. Hop in there. Play them. You can play them until each individual fights start. So you see the times here. You have till 4 p.m. for Ismagulov, 5 for Shah Yalan, 5:20 for Vic. So they break these out by time. You have time. You can play these throughout the night. Do it. Nothing is easier than making money playing Monkey Knife Fights in MMA. Nothing. It's amazing. Dan Kramer talking about Rafael Alves, the upside of a crazy KO or a sub, which is not crazy that it'll happen, but it will absolutely 100% launch your lineup into the money. Dan, thank you. I appreciate it. My throat is sore. There's a lot of talking. Rear naked choke for Ben Rothwell. Yeah, so Ben wins this fight. Ben dominates this fight. Ben does not lose this fight. He either has a boring hold against the cage decision or a boring put against the cage takedown, then TKO or submission. Ben Rothwell wins for sure. That's a safe play. I just don't know how many points he's going to score. And then King Rob with every single one of the emojis that a member can use. So the new member, my buddy, Big Bob, you can use the emojis. Click the little smiley face in this live chat. Those emojis are only for members. And you guys want a feast or famine one. I think Big Bob just signed up. I think we need a few more, and then we get another emoji. Let's get this money, fam. Angelo, thank you again for the streams today. Dan, love the lineups. I'm leaning towards yours as my only difference is Shabazian. Guys, I'm not the only live stream today on this channel. Jacob is going live for the main event. So if you're watching the fights, what I like to do, I'm going to do this tonight because I'm going to be home with my kids watching the fights. Jacob's going to be at his house. I'm going to watch the fights on the TV with low volume, and I'm going to have Jacob on my iPad with the volume all the way up, and he'll sync it so it goes simultaneously. So check out Jacob's live stream. He's always a ton of fun, and he'll keep you up to date with how everybody's lineups are doing. And Big Bob, he'll let you know if you're going to win that $30 for being a member. King Rob, Joe, Ansi, all the members that are in here today, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Anybody that's you have 7 minutes to lock in your DraftKings lineups. Give it a once over. Yancy Medeiros dropped. Make a swap. I did Shabazian. Dan did Carla Esparza. You do have options. Make the change so you don't get screwed with a 5-fighter lineup. I don't want to see anybody in the comments complaining that they ended up with a 5-person lineup. I went live and did so for 2 hours to warn you people. Do not complain to me that you didn't get warned. I put it on Instagram. I went live. We're trying to get you guys this information as quickly as possible. Thank you all very, very much. Big Bob Boston, let's get this money, fam. Angelo, thank you again for the streams. You are welcome. Jacob is streaming later. You'll check back with us later. Awesome. You private message on Facebook. Let's see. That is you, Big Bob. I have your address, right? Probably. I'll mail you the Dan Kramer card. Congratulations and thank you for the support. Ansi Music, thank you very much. And we will tell you what, I can only do one emoji for now until we get more members. Do you guys want feast or famine? Which one? Tell me which one you want. I'll go to Fiverr. We'll get it made. I'll spend that money. And then it'll be here for 2 weeks from now. There's no fight next week. So enjoy your fights. Spend your money this week because next week, all there is Bellator, no UFC. Thank you all very much. It is genuinely appreciated. I'll stick around for 4 more minutes in case somebody pops in and has a question. But Yancy Medeiros dropped. Make your changes in the next 4 minutes before these lineups are LOCKED'd. I swapped Medeiros for Shabazian. Dan swapped him for Carla Esparza. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm taking a sip and then I'm going. All right, guys. Thank you for the support. You've been incredible. Come back in a couple of hours, 3 hours to be exact. Jacob will be live streaming. He's always a ton of fun. I'll be in the chat. Dan may or may not be. Thank you all very much.